Of you have been encouraging me to find a bear, a reliable bear that I would invite on the show and potentially talk about things to calm me down. Well, I haven't been able to find a reliable Tesla bear yet. I can't think of anybody who I trust and respect that is a bear, but I have found a decent general market bear that I think I can respect. His name is David Rosenberg. And he has been concerned about 2024, and I think this is a good read. He says we are going to need to keep in mind that a recession is not as much about lowering economic activity, but rather about incrementally not increasing. So how does the third quarter of 2024 beat the huge increase in the third quarter of 2023? And more specifically, with federal stimulus from the infrastructure bill having a big impact in 2023, where will the new stimulus come from that to offset and allow us to have the gains that would be showing a positive increase in GDP? A positive increase. That's redundant. Okay. Anyway, I have been arguing, I will continue to argue that stimulus will come from residential housing. But his point is well taken. And this might be the reason for the early year sell-off in equities right now. The market predicting economic activity 6 months out. Of course, 2 days did not make a market. And so far this morning, things are looking like maybe there's a fight to potentially get equities back into the green a bit. Even though the Nasdaq is still down, Tesla is up. And the bonds are still getting beaten and beaten and beaten. So the 10-year is up another 8 basis points this morning. But anyway, we'll take a look at the specific numbers here in about 15 minutes as we get into the show. Later this morning, I'll have your favorite guest on. Scott Walker will help me understand that robot chef that you might have seen on YouTube yesterday. I'm a little confused by exactly who was managing that robot and exactly how the neural net was supposed to be working. Scott, I'm sure he says he's ready to have that show. So we'll be doing that. That should be out around 11 o'clock this morning, California time. We will also have Bradford Ferguson helping me explain the market. I thought Jeff last night, his comments were spot on, but Bradford is definitely more conservative. I'm going to be interested in seeing the balance from him tonight. Gary Black. Oh, there's a couple of more things. Just real quick. I'd never had any inventory, so I had to stop showing you this beautiful sterling silver version of the Cybertruck bottle opener, in this amazing case. I mean, how can you say no to that? I know that you've got some extra money left over here you probably had to cash in some of your pension funds if you're over 70. So there's a good way to spend some of that money. Anyway, okay. I'm really surprised at this Gary Black list this morning, but Gary Black's catalyst list has become kind of famous on X. So let me go through it here. Number 1, he says the Cybertruck halo effect. Well, yeah, okay, that's going to continue. There was a massive 2-hour video I reported on yesterday. I'll be reporting more on it today because I only got to see the first hour. It's a fantastic video, and those folks are going to be doing much more in the next few days, comparing it to some of the other trucks on the market, etc. So this halo effect, I'm sure, will continue in quarter 1. Number 2, stable auto gross margins. Yes, I think that's definitely going to happen. I would be encouraged. I think we can see price increases this year. I don't see right now, my thinking is there's no reason to decrease prices anywhere, anytime, because basically the margins the sticker price is now down to, totally within comparables in the ICE market. I could be wrong about that in China, for instance, where maybe there'll be some competition with so many brands going on over there. We'll see, but I think he's right. Number 3, $7,500 EV instant rebate starts now. I understand there's still some technical issues where that hasn't really started, but we'll see. Yeah, that would definitely be a positive. The Model 3 Highland US launch. Some people are saying that could happen sooner even than March 1. I would agree that's another one. India, Gigafactory, and an import duty deal. That would be a good one. Fed's pivot, number 6, Fed's pivot on interest rates. Yes, we're certainly all expecting that. That would be a shock if it doesn't happen, and it should be good for everybody. Full self-driving OEM licensing deal or some kind of licensing deal, I would add. It could be something besides the FSD, but that would be huge if it happens. Number 8, Tesla's $10 billion share buyback. That's not going to happen. I say there is less than zero chance of that happening at this point, unlike Elon Musk's greater than zero chance. I'm saying there's no chance there'll be a $10 billion share back in in the full year 2024. And number 9, he says a $25,000 to $30,000 next gen sometime in 2025. Number 1, I think that'll be in 2024, third quarter, end of third quarter maybe, but we'll be seeing that car this year, and we'll be seeing it being manufactured this year out of Austin. And he has his price target at $300 for the next 6 to 12 months. Now, here's why I'm really surprised. A lot of that's really, really good. I'm really surprised that Gary had nothing on Juniper, nothing on Optimist, nothing on Energy, nothing on 4680, nothing on Semi, and nothing on Dojo. That seems like the worst list yet. And then a $300 price target. Yeah, okay. I'm all for that. I'd like to see it by the end, of course, of this. I'd like to see the 410 by the end of this month, which is getting less and less likely, but gosh, it could still happen. Anyway, and a 700 by the end of the year. I'm in a completely different world than Gary with regard to the price target. Okay, Elon Musk has specifically stated that the Cybertruck will make a great police vehicle. This might mean that he actually, maybe this means he would actually field a sales team to go out and sell police vehicles all over the world, to the feds, to the states, to the local governments. Why not? Come on, let's go. I need a sales team. Some have mocked the bulletproof body by stating that the windows aren't bulletproof. Well, that's fine, except what about a bulletproof vest? It doesn't protect the head. And so isn't it better to have some part of the body protected than none? And can't those guys duck down? Anyway, I'm saying that if you have a bulletproof body, it's a better police vehicle. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff like the speed, like the acceleration, like the ability to tow, like the amazing technology inside, no need to go to gas stations and spend a lot of time. Anyway, it goes on and on. But I'm sure you can figure that out for yourself. Okay, Joe Tegmeyer says this morning there's some exciting insights into efforts going on at Giga Texas concerning revising the 4680 chemistry composition of elements and cell changes underway right now in the northwest corner of the main factory. He says at the end of 2023, the 4680 battery chemical composition ratios in the cathode material was NMC 811, 80% nickel, 10% lithium, 10% cobalt. However, Tesla is finishing the process of transitioning over to NMC 955 now that we're in 2024. They are also trialing asymmetric lamination with one side of the laminated material thicker than the other. The expectation is that this will increase the amount of jelly roll that they can fit into the can. For those wondering, I have asked the limiting factor to look into this more depth, which limiting factor came out later and agreed with all of this. With both of these changes, Tesla will be able to increase the capacity of the 4680 battery initially used in 2023 by a further range of between 10 and 20%. As a side note, NMC 955 is just the latest chemical makeup, but Tesla is also testing NMC 973, which we may see at some point later in 2024. The switch over timing was based on using the last of the older NMC 811 material on hand. The final transition to NMC 955 is now underway. He says that he believes that since this is essentially just a chemical composition change, the process to upgrade to the newer cells should happen relatively quickly with little no drop in production in this quarter. Also, as a reminder, Tesla is in the process of upgrading the 4680 cell area, expanding the production area, and preparing to go to the current 4 4680 lines, which are now either at or in the final process of ramping to full capacity, and then to 8 later in the latter half of 2024. Also, and this is important, As a reminder, the battery cathode plant here at Giga, Texas is nearing the end of the initial construction and equipment installation. We may see some initial tests and small-scale production in the first half of 24. And then in addition, work continues at Corpus Christi, although for the lithium refinery, also, I suspect it will be the second half of 2024 before it's a basic operational capacity. But eventually, the lithium plant and the battery cathode plant will work together to supply Giga Texas 4680 cell production. At present, all 4680s are being directed to Cybertruck, he believes, as all Giga Texas Model Ys are using 2170s. As the 4680 cell production continues to ramp, this may, he says, obviously will change, but likely not until late in 2024. I take exception with him there. I think it will happen much sooner. I think the 4680 ramp will be able to produce plenty of cells for Cybertruck and will start to be used for other purposes. Maybe not for Model Ys, but who knows, for other purposes. So this is one of the most amazing things that's taking place. Gary Black doesn't mention it at all. But this transformation to the place where Tesla will now be vertical on cell manufacturing, all the way from the lithium refinery right through to the cathode plant, I mean, et cetera. Huge, 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 huge. Private sector employment increased by 164,000 jobs in December, and annual pay was up 5.4% year over year, according to the December ADP National Employment Report produced by ADP Research Institute. The increases were almost entirely in services led by hospitality, education, health, financial, and transportation. And other than education, that sounds like all old people to me, right? The wealthy over 55 cadre of the US population has lots of money, and they're spending it on the things they need, like travel, like health, like transportation, like hospitality. Yeah, this is where it's happening. Says pay increases were down slightly to 5.6 from 5.8%. I'm sorry, the 5.6 last month to 5.4 this month. And that's great directionally, but neither one of these numbers are going to make the Fed happy, who's looking for a 3% on that pay increase number and looking for far fewer than 164,000 jobs being added. MarketWatch is reporting this morning that the number of Americans who applied for unemployment benefits in the final week of 2023 fell to a nearly 3-month low of 202,000. These numbers on the ADP have, and that the initial unemployment numbers, these are great numbers for the economy and belie all the folks that are talking about some kind of negative numbers going into 2024 in terms of the strength of the underlying economy. But it's not going to make the Fed happy, suggesting that the softening labor market still has plenty of residual strength. New jobless claims declined by 18,000 from a revised 220,000 in the prior week. And then economists had predicted new claims in the week to be 219 instead of 202. The number of people collecting unemployment benefits in the U.S., meanwhile, fell by 31,000 to 1.85 million. Still, a gradual rise in the so-called continuing claims over the past year is a sign it's taking a little longer for people to find new jobs. Generally speaking, I think that's true, and I think that the job shortage is much less than it was last year, but it is still definitely tight out there. So, as I pointed out, all this bodes well for the economy. At the same time, inflation is still staying subdued. Truflation has been at around 215, 214, this morning 217 for the last 3 days. That's 2.17%, which is really, really good. And if that bodes for where we're going to see CPI and continuing great numbers for PCE coming up in the next few weeks, that's extremely good. In general, the markets are not going to like this report, and long bonds, last we checked, we're getting just blown apart again this morning, flirting with 4% on the 10-year. Let's go ahead and check out if that continues to be true. But we will start with Tesla, who is continuing to do well this morning. It is up and trending up $1.82. We've got the S&P up 311. We've got the Dow up 114. The Nasdaq down 36, but trending towards green. We've got the Magnificent Seven now split with 4 in the green and 3 in the red. Apple continuing to be hammered. This is not investment advice. The Apple stock is going to be a buy at some point. I have no plans to buy any, but that is it's been hammered too much. We have got the Cathie Woods also split. Generally speaking, this would tell me that the bonds were even or flat. I don't think that's going to be the case. But anyway, let me tell you in percentages, because there are those of you who like to hear percentages. Then the Dow is up 0.29%, Nasdaq down 0.25%, S&P up 0.08%, and Tesla up 0.82. Okay, now let's go take a look at those bonds. We have got bonds right now up, as I mentioned, 8 basis points. So we got up 8 basis points. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Let me just refresh here. No, now things have changed dramatically. Oh, see, it didn't refresh. I'm so sorry. My machine is giving me trouble right now. Yes, we are sitting just under 4% on the 10-year. I think this is short-term profit taking. I think we will see bonds rallying again across the board. Right now, though, pretty much across the board, they are down, except for the 2-month. The 2-year is also up 7 basis points. So that gives you some idea that right now, at least, the bonds are continuing to be hammered. I really think this is going to be a short-term situation. We'll see what happens. And let's go on to take a look at oil. We see oil is completely flat at 72.72. We've got, that's on Texas Intermediate. Brent is at 78.13. Still has not come back down to the normal $3 split on that as the Middle East tensions continue to bother Brent more than they do West Texas. We have got natural gas up 4.61 this morning, continuing to be the most volatile item, I think, overall of anything on the markets. We have got gold up, but we've got the rest of commodities all headed down this morning. We have got the dollar easing, and we have got Bitcoin back up, trying to decide whether or not there is going to be that change in ETFs with regard to the currency. And then, yeah, okay, so that's generally where we're looking at this morning. Listen, if you happen to miss my conversation with Jeff Lutz last night, that is one you want to go back and check out. It had some really good ways of looking at the current market, looking at Tesla, things that a couple of places where I hadn't thought it through at all that he added to my understanding and my knowledge. Here is the card for that. Later on today, as I mentioned, we got Scott Walter. That is going to be huge. And then, of course, you want to join Patreon. Now we have that $3 price point. So run over there to Patreon and join at the $3 level. Now, if you join at the $3 level, you're not going to get a free one of these. All right. If you join at the $10 level, you're going to get a free camo, either camo or stainless Cybertruck bottle opener and refrigerator magnet, which would normally cost you $25. And if you'd like, you can pay $25 for it. Or, you know, you can go on Amazon, which is my account. It's my Amazon deal. It's $29.95 there. $25 if you buy it direct from me at paypal.me/Randy Kirk, all in lower cap letters. And then, you know, make sure and let me know, camo up like that one up there, or do you want the stainless like this one in this gorgeous box? Amazing gift item, amazing for you. You know you need one for your plane. Okay, I know I know I was using that all last year, but I have new people that haven't heard me mention that you should have one on your plane. Okay, so be sure to keep watching. Be sure to hit Patreon. And then let's look at Tesla one last time before I say adieu. And Tesla is up $1.06. That's not as much as it was. So it's a little bit of profit taking there, I guess. Anyway, we'll see what happens later on today. How can we get to 410 if we aren't hitting up, you know, 2, 3, 4% a day? Buy more, buy more. That is not investment advice. See you later. It's been great talking to you.